All right, Shalom. I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahawah BAHASHAM, YAHAWASHI, BAHASHAM RECOMPENSE. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. The scriptures say that these devils are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression, which is our oppression. Okay? It says they speak loftily, right? That word loftily, it says in a lofty manner or position, haughtily. This word haughtily, it says in a haughty manner, arrogantly, right? It says in a haughty manner with excessive or undeserved pride, all right? And this is how these Edomites speak when it concerns the oppression of the so-called Negro, Latino, Native American, Hispanics, all right? Because that all ties into the deflection, all right, on how they try to change the narrative. You know, they won't take accountability, right? They always try to shift the blame, you know, because like I said before, deep embedded in their spirits, they know that eventually that they're going to have to pay for the destruction of the Lord's people, man, the enslavement of the 12 tribes, man, you so-called Negro, Latino, Native Americans, and Hispanics, man. All right, the genocide, all right, the separating of our people, all right, the psychological destruction, everything that these people in this system, you know, role in the complete desolation of our people. All right, they got to pay for that, and they know that, man. You know, hey, like this Edomite that I showed the other day, right? This Edomite gets it, but not all of them do, right?
Why aren't white people talking about this more? We are on the verge of global extinction, according to Wall Street Apes, the most reputable news source on X. As you can see, 100 years ago, we represented about 35% of the population. 50 years ago, 20%. 25 years ago, 15%. Today, just 8%. And in the United States of America, in 2046, white people will be considered a minority. Elon Musk is the only one that gets it. If current trends continue, whites will go from being a small minority of world population today to virtually extinct. I've come up with a solution that will actually prevent this mass extinction level event for white people everywhere. And it's quite simple. All you have to do is fuck more. What is wrong with you? Just fuck your wives. You can't get your dicks up because you're too busy running your mouth blaming minorities for all of your fucking problems. Just fuck more. That's the whole fucking game. That's why God put you on this fucking earth and you're not doing your fucking job. I did my part. I have 2 white-ass little kids. Now, when the retribution eventually fucking comes, they're gonna have to answer for what our ancestors have done. But that's the...
Yeah. So they know, like I said, they know that the retribution is coming. All right? And they've always thought that. Okay? It's always been in the back of their spirit, you know?
Retribution eventually fucking comes, they're gonna have to answer for what our ancestors have done. But that's the whole fucking fear for all of you. Otherwise, who cares? Who gives a shit if white people are a minority in the future? It doesn't fucking matter. The only reason why you care, white people, is because you know how you treat minorities. And you fear, rightfully so, what the fuck's gonna happen to you in the future. Hopefully, my kids' friends see videos of me and they give them a fucking pass because they are in for a world of hurt. Why aren't white people talking about this more?
Yep. Real quick. This is Exodus 21:16. And it reads, it says, and he that stealeth a man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death. All right? So you don't think that these Edomites are going to pay? All right, they know, right? One more, Isaiah 14:21. And it reads, it says, prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, as he said in the video. All right, he said eventually, you know, that these so-called white people are going to pay for the sins of their ancestors, you know, right? Because you are your forefathers coming back. Prepare slaughter for his children for the iniquity of their fathers, the forefathers, that they do not rise nor possess the land, nor fill the face of the world with cities. Verse 22, for I will rise up against them, saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI of hosts, and cut off from Babylon the name and remnant, and son and nephew, saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Right, so the Lord's going to cut off the Edomite line. Okay, your line is cut off when all the males are destroyed, and that's what the Lord is going to do. All right, let's see what that says in the NLT real quick, and then we'll get back to it. All right, let's read these two verses again. NLT. It says, "Kill this man's children, let them die because of the sin of their father's sins. They must not rise and conquer the earth, filling the world with their cities." Verse 22. This is what the Lord, YAHAWASHI of heaven's army says. "I myself have risen against Babylon. I will destroy its children and its children's children." All right, that's your line. That's your bloodline, your lineage. "I will destroy its children and its children's children, saith the Lord, YAHAWASHI. Verse 23. "I will make Babylon a desolate place of owls, filled with swamps and marshes. I will sweep the land with the broom of destruction. I, the Lord, YAHAWASHI of heaven's armies, have spoken." Right? So Babylon is about to be wiped out. You Edomites are about to be wiped out, according to prophecy. All right? It tells you that in the book of Obadiah. All right? That the house of Esau is going to be eliminated. Right? But like I said, right? This Edomite gets it, but not all of them do. And this is what kind of got me going when I saw this video here. Let's play this. Because not all of them get it, you know? Check this out.
Why are black people never mad at the Africans who sold them into slavery? It's always the white people who bought. But don't dealers get longer sentences for a reason? I'm not saying don't be angry at all the evil stuff in between, but like, you know, oh, you took us here in chains. It's like, to be fair, you were already in chains over there. How do you think the damn chains got there? You think white people pulled up on the beach after sailing a couple months and started throwing nets at fast, gangly African dudes on their home turf? How would that have went? No, you were already purchasable because somebody had already taken your freedom. Shouldn't you be mad primarily with the people who made you go from free to not free? And slavery was a global phenomenon at that point. It was a worldwide system. You could have went to a different place in Africa and you might still be a slave today. You could have went to the Arab world and got euthanized and not exist. But at least it stopped when you came here. But shouldn't your primary beef be with the guy who put you on the damn ride? That's the first domino you got to be concerned about. Hey, what the fuck, Ogunkwo from 400 years ago? Why did you do that to me and my people? Why are black people never...
Yeah, like you said, you know, the slavery was a world business. And our primary beef is with you Edomites and all you fucking nations, man. That's why, again, right, let's get that. Jeremiah, because what is the end result, right? Jeremiah 30 and 16, right? It says, "Therefore all they that devour thee shall be devoured, and all thy adversaries, every one of them, shall go into captivity," slavery. "And they that spoil thee shall be a spoil, and all that prey upon thee will I give for a prey." So like he was saying here, right? See, these Edomites, this is what I was talking about. See, not all of them get it. You see on the comments, right? It says, this is what this Edomite said. It's not profitable to blame the Africans, right? Because what you fucking devils don't understand is that, yeah, you had sellouts of our people that was caught up in the you know, the trading of our people, but you had the so-called indigenous Africans who are the Hamites, which are not our people, that helped, you know, Esau and Ishmael round us up into those slave ships, right? Look, 15,000 likes based off that comment. See, this is what we're talking about. This is all, this is the deflection. This is that that lack of accountability. All right, them trying to shift the blame. This is what we're talking about. All right, but the bottom line is that all you fucking Edomites are going to pay, including the rest of you nations that were involved as well, right? This one said they don't want the truth button, right? See, it will rob them of victimhood. You're making it says you're making the great assumption that they're smart enough to have done the research. You see, this is the shit that this is how these Edomites, this is how they think, man. Right? They just ignore that part. Right? It's not useful for getting Section 8 housing. You see that? And a lot of Edomites on the comment board talking shit. Right? But the bottom line is this, as I went into, all right, again, the enslavement of the tribes, the 12 tribes, was world business at the hands of Esau and all the nations, man. Right? You fucking devils are something else, man. All right, slavery as a world business, not a local practice. Slavery existed in early many civilizations, but from 700 AD to the 1800s became a global commercial system tied to international trade routes, banking and insurance empires, and colonial expansion, agriculture, mining, and infrastructure. This is why historians call it chattel slavery and commercial slavery, not merely servitude. And you can go back and watch this lesson. We're not going to go through all of that again, right? But go back and check this lesson out, man. I wish I would have saw this video, all right, when I had made this lesson, right? But again, the audacity of you fucking devils, man. All right, talking about you, we didn't do the research. We've been doing the research, man, and the conclusion is that all you Edomites and you nations are gonna fucking pay. You know, see, they deep down inside, these Edomites really want to get away from this history. They can't. All right, this is why they try to deflect. This is why they try to change the narrative. This is why they try to shift the blame. Okay, we know the truth. All right, and the truth is that all you Edomites and you nations are gonna pay. Right? Revelation 13, 9 and 10. And it reads, and if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and faith of the saints. This is the recompense we're waiting on, man. The big payback, okay, that we're going to have upon Esau and these nations, man. Right? Psalm 73, as I quoted earlier, Psalm 73 and 6, therefore pride compasseth them about as a chain, violence covered them as a garment. This is the true nature of the Edomite. Their eyes stand out with fatness, they have more than a heart could wish. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak lawfully, as we just read here. This is what we heard, okay? Yeah, our biggest beef is with you and the nations, man. Okay, and you're gonna pay, and you're not gonna get away from that, right? It says they set their mouth against the heavens, and their tongue walketh through the earth. Right? Here's another one. Okay. Psalm 75 and verse 5, because yeah, hey, just like how we drank the cup of hardcore slavery, bondage, genocide, destruction, you Edomites and you nations are going to drink that same cup, right? This is Psalm 75 and 5. Lift not up your horn on high. Speak not with the stiff neck, as you heard this Edomite in the video. All right, he was talking proud. And he thought he was on to something, right? It says, for promotion cometh neither from the east, nor the west, nor from the south. But the Most High is the judge. He putteth down one and setteth up another. For in the hand of the Lord there is a cup, and the wine is red, it is full of mixture. He poureth out of the same, but the dregs thereof, all the wicked of the earth shall wring them out and drink them. Yeah, see, you wicked, the wicked, you Edomites, you're going to drink of that very same cup that we had to drink from. Okay? You're going to drink of that bitterness, the destruction, the slavery. Okay? But I will declare forever, I will sing praises to the power of Jacob. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off. The horns represent power. Okay? The Lord's getting ready to cut off the power of the wicked, as we're seeing happening now. All the horns of the wicked also will I cut off, but the horns of the righteous shall be exalted. See? One more. Right? Jeremiah 49 and 12. For thus said the Lord, YAHAWASHI, behold, they whose judgment was not to drink of the cup have assuredly drunken. All right? Speaking about us. We are surely, right? We have assuredly drinking the cup. Okay? And it says, and art thou he that shall altogether go unpunished? Thou shalt not go unpunished, but thou shalt surely drink of it. Right? Surely you Edomites are going to drink of the cup. Okay? Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which been is now, and that which is to be have already been, and the Most High requireth which is past. All right? So yeah, these Edomites that were on the comment board, this guy, this Edomite talking shit. All right, hey, you all gonna drink of the cup. whether you believe it or not. Like I said, this Edomite, he gets it, but not all of them do, right? Psalms 10 and 11, he saith in his heart, the Most High have forgotten. He hideth his face, he will never see it. And that's how these Edomites feel. That was of the past. You know, stop talking about it. I'm not to blame. You wasn't there, I wasn't there, you know. But as we read in Ecclesiastes 3 and 15, the Most High required which is past. Verse 12, arise, O Lord, YAHAWASHI, O power, lift up thy hand, forget not the humble. Wherefore doeth the wicked to contemn the Most High? He saith in his heart, thou will not require it, right? But see, understanding the truth, okay, the Most High is going to require everything that happened, all right, which you Edomites cannot get away from. So continue to talk all the shit you want to, but in the end, all right, you getting ready to be met with chains, man. Okay, you about to be destroyed and wiped out of the earth. All right, as the scriptures say, the Most High is gonna. Let me get that real quick. All right, in Psalm 21, the Most High is about to get rid of Esau, man. Remember, Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth. All right, this is Psalms 21. In 9, it says, thou shalt make them as a fiery oven in the time of thy anger. The Lord, YAHAWASHI, shall swallow them up in his wrath, and the fire shall devour them, right? That's going to be that nuclear destruction. And when YAHAWASHI comes with the heavenly host of angels, right? Verse 10, their fruit, it says, their fruit shall thou destroy from the earth, and their seed from among the children of men, right? The Most High is going to get rid of your bloodline, man. He's going to get rid of you. See? But anyway, moving on, right? Just want to hit a couple points, right? But getting into this here, all right? Because, hey, 2025 is going out with a bang, all right? Happy New Year, right? End time signs multiply with global conflicts rising, all right? 2nd Ezra 16, sorrow shall be on every side, right? Let's get that. Global conflict continues to rise, all right? 2nd Ezra 16, right? All right, this is 2nd Ezra 16 and 37. Behold, the plagues draw nigh and are not slack, as when a woman with child in the 9th month bringeth forth her son, with 2 or 3 hours of her birth, great pains compass her womb, which pains when the child cometh forth, they slack not a moment. Even so shall not the plagues be slack to come upon the earth, and the world shall mourn, and sorrow shall come upon it on every side. All right. So again, right before we enter into the year of 2026, shit is getting more intense. All right. End time signs multiply with global conflicts rising. Right. This is from the America First Report. It says 2025 is ending with a whole lot of bombing. Right. Perfect timing. Right. People caught up in the holidays, you know, so-called Christmas, New Year. All right, this is what's going on. Nuclear war, right? Let's go to the summary real quick. See what we get. All right, 2025 is ending with a whole lot of bombing. All right. So going to it here on the summary on the left-hand side here, it says this article summarizes a period of heightened global military activity and geopolitical tension at the end of 2025. United States military operations, Venezuela and Latin America, which is at war with America now, right? The U.S. has conducted 30 airstrikes since September against alleged drug trafficking vessels in the Caribbean and Eastern Pacific, including a recent strike on a major facility in Venezuela, right? Because what do they want? They want the oil, man. Okay? Nigeria, we talked about that the other day. Somalia, all right, I think they just scammed America out of like billions of dollars or something like that. Iran, right, which we're going to talk about that further here. President Trump has signaled a willingness to use military force immediately if Iran restarts its nuclear program or rebuilds its ballistic missile arsenal, all right? Middle East conflicts, Saudi Arabia and the UAE, tensions escalated between the allies as Saudi Arabia bombed Yemen port of Makalla, accusing the UAE of supplying weapons to separatist forces. The UAE subsequently announced a withdrawal of its counterterrorism units from Yemen. Russia-Ukraine war, all right, which they're saying over 1.5 million people have already died. All right, the number is higher than 500,000, right? Russia response, NATO involvement. Yeah, NATO's getting ready to get involved, as we talked about this early on. China and Taiwan tensions, all right? Global security threats. New Year's Eve cancellations. Major cities, including Sydney and Paris, have canceled celebrations and fireworks due to very real threats of terror attacks, man. Shit is on the up. Forecast the authors suggest these events indicate the world is entering the kinetic phase, quote unquote, of World War III, predicting even greater instability in 2026. Check that out, man. All right, scriptures speak. Right, let's go to Revelation 11 and 14. Right, Revelation 11 and 14. The second woe was past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. World War III, man. Right? Let's get some more. Let's make some more points. Right? Here we go. So this is from collapse.news. Right? It says, the U.S. did not avert World War III. Netanyahu continues to pull Trump into a broader war with Iran. Check that out. Netanyahu continues to pull Trump into a broader war with Iran. As we just read in the lesson yesterday, all right? The least of the flock shall draw them out. All right, this is Jeremiah 49 and verse 20. Therefore hear the counsel of the Lord, YAHAWASHI, that he have taken against Edom, and his purposes that he had proposed against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. Israel is pulling America into nuclear war, World War III. They're being drawn out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. All right. We're coming into the time where both America and Israel is going to be destroyed. Okay. See that? Let's read a little bit here. Okay, it says, as the world watches with bated breath, a dangerous escalation of Middle East war is unfolding behind gilded doors of Mar-a-Lago. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu scheduled meeting with President Donald Trump is more than a routine consultation between allies. It is the escalation of war talks, a potential tipping point toward a catastrophic regional war with Iran. Okay, key points. Right? Oh, Slovakia. Earlier this year, the Trump administration bombed Iran's nuclear facilities and claimed they averted World War III. However, Iranian leadership knows that they are at war with Israel, the U.S., and Europe. Netanyahu is planning the next phase of war against Iran, as Americans are lied to about their involvement in Israel's conquest in the Middle East. Right? That's the key point, the Middle East. All right? Key points. Okay? Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu is shifting his lobbying focus from Iran's nuclear program to its missile and air defense systems, framing them as a, quote, shell that enables future nuclear power. This new narrative is designed to pressure President Trump into authorizing preemptive military strikes against Iran, exploiting the existing tension from recent U.S.-Israeli attacks on Iranian facilities. Right? It says concurrent U.S. actions, including the seizure of international tankers and major weapons transfers to Taiwan, suggest a broader escalation between both Iran and China, aligning with hardline objectives. Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard has publicly accused, quote, deep state warmongers within the administration of pushing propaganda about Russia to undermine Trump's peace efforts, revealing a fierce internal conflict. Iranian President Masoud, I'm not going to say his last name, has declared Iran in a, quote, full-scale war with the U.S., Israel, and Europe, vowing a more decisive response to any new attack. All right. So it's hey, here we go. Turn it up. Israel pulls U.S. deeper into war with Iran. We're not going to read all that. Now the Jews' reasons why we should remain skeptical. Iran in full scale war with West now. Okay? And you can read all that on your own. All right? So see what's going on. Right? Zephaniah 3 and 8. Therefore wait ye upon me, said the Lord, YAHAWASHI, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that I may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy. Right? So the tension, the gathering that's going on is happening in the so-called Middle East, as we read. Okay? It's all going down. Joel, the 3rd chapter, Joel 3 and 1, for behold, in those days, in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. This is the time of our deliverance. All right? The salvation of the Israelites. All right? This is the time. All right? It says, verse 2, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Yahawah. All right? Which means Yahweh judges. And I will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. See, this is what Esau and the heathen nations did. All right, they rounded us up, they put us in slavery, they scattered us. Right, they did away with our heritage, our nationality. So all these things that the rising escalation of nuclear war is all happening for what these nations did to the Lord's people. All right, this is the vengeance of the Lord for his people. Okay? So Esau and these nations, again, they're not going to get away from that. Right? Jumping down, Joel 3 and 9, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty men, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hook into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right. These nations have nuclear capability. They have nuclear weapons. All right. And they're standing up against the Western hegemony now. Iran, China, Russia, North Korea. Okay. Different parts of Africa. All right. These nations are standing up. Assemble yourselves and come, all you heathen, and gather yourselves together round about thither. Cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord, YAHAWASHI, which is the angels. All right, which they're being seen all over the world. All right, so-called UFO, UAP sightings, the disclosures that's coming from these various governments about the chariots. Right, they're being seen. Joel 3 and 12, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahawah, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right, so again, where's that going to take place? In the so-called Middle East. All right, where the Lord is going to judge all the heathen in nuclear war, World War III. Right? In the Middle East, right? Americans are lied about their involvement in Israel's conquest in the Middle East. That's where it's going. Right? So it's getting ready to go down. The Lord is bringing the so-called New Year in with a bang. Shalom.